Welcome to Tradespotting, where we make the trend lines and the headlines. Thanks very much for being here. We're going to look at GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, WTER, SPY, and some of the select sectors. We'll start off with SPY, which you can see uptrend. A lot of things trending to the top side. This current formation is an upward sloping channel. The distinction when we started moving into an uptrend ahead of a downtrend on this time frame came when we broke the 50% retracement on this current fib that I'm looking at here. This is the top side with our most recent peak, and that was in at around $400. Subsequently, we've put in a couple of levels that would be considered good areas to retest. So you're looking, if price action breaks this this parallel channel, you'll test in around 404, then around 401 to 400, and if that breaks back down, a strong deep retracement towards the golden pocket and further might take you down to 396, 397, where you find a strong area of support. So there is the potential for a retracement at this stage that tests support, and a mark of when that might begin would be breaking this upward sloping parallel channel, which you see on the 4-hour time frame. RSI suggests that you're perhaps running out of steam at the minute, and price action could then come back down again. Would that be it'd be quite a large move to see from here? So we'll go into that deeper. SPX 4-hour, you've had the fullness of this move that we predicted from the WTER low fat reversal recipe. JS preferred seating in the 40% section. Boom, my goodness gracious me, $100. Ha, my god, oh my god. JS super trader, my god, it looks so good. Thanks so much, JS. That's appreciated so much. Thanks, JS. Total legend. How you doing, my friend? Let me know if you want to look at anything. It's great to have you here. Yes. SPX. Yes, we had the fullness of this move. WTER low-fat reversal recipe. Fantastic. Couple of gaps on it that you can see quite obvious here. They'll be filled with a 50% retracement down around 3964. It'll be confluent with those lower targets we were talking about on SPY. You've got the same situation with the reversal divergence on the RSI, and I think that's well worth paying attention to. So over to this chart, which is HGEN, and onto the 4-hour time frame, where the MACD is giving you a potential cross back above the center line with a positive situation on the histogram. RSI recovering the center line. It's already got its own moving average. You've got a potential volatility signal coming. As you can see, the last 3 times that's 1, 2, 3. You've seen price action collapse once, bounce once, strong reaction at that stage. So 2 ups, 1 down, and they're getting the same signal at the moment, but this time you've got the RSI in your favor. You didn't quite have it at the beginning of this trend. RSI very far away. Sorry, the MACD center line MACD? No, the MACD line, the signal line, and then the RSI, both were performing a little bit like rejection at that time. And the 2 times you move to the top side, you have very strong positive moves on the RSI. So we'll see if we get something similar with confirmation in the center line 4-hour and due to get something there. A lot of people are interested in biotech and have had questions about this recently. HGEN and also REGN, which has been a very strong uptrend, and put this on the weekly time frame, point that out. It's not all biotechs are absolutely terrible, but on this particular guy, there is a high danger now with a number of touches of bearish divergence. You fall out of the bullish control zone, you get across in the MACD. Here on the weekly time frame, things obviously would have to have moved a little bit in price action before you saw the fullness of that signal, but from the low to high at the minute, as we say, very bearishly divergent. 236 retracement to test this overall move. We're back down around 245, currently trading at 820. You know, 25% of that move giving that up's a huge chunk. Anyway, so sideways price action still until such times as it does break up definitively, and you're not seeing that on the momentum, though it has been a very positive trend for a long time. If there is deep retracements on this, I'd be very weary of it breaking below this gap top side of that gap being tested, you could easily bounce, but it does like to close its gaps like most things. So in and around these areas, that's what would be my answer to this particular question I was getting at the time. And then if it doesn't hold these levels, and you manage your risk very, very well here, very, very tight. Obviously, there's an upward sloping trend line. You go with that. I wouldn't be looking at that though because of the divergence. I think if you want to take this move to the upside, you already have to be in it, or else you're waiting for a retracement. 606, that's not too bad. If you break 440, you'll probably come down and test those targets, and there's reasons for them which I'm supposed to be able to find, but I can't right now. Anywho, 173 and so on, so it could get really bad. That's not to say it's bad for everything, but this thing maybe. So I wanted to check the select sectors. Well, I wanted to talk about the select sectors. We saw industrials, building materials, energy, the three select sectors moving to the top side, partly due to supply chain concerns, perhaps. And then when you looked across the rest of the board, very negative, right? When CPI data came out, things had a little bit of a positive reaction at the start of the day and then gave up most of its gains and finished little bit down, so not huge moves, and it's very much short positions driving the market at the minute. What I mean is most of the money that's already been committed to trades is committed short, which means that the consequence of that is that every dip is bought, and we will see continuation of this until such times as the open interest is more balanced. And that's very, and with regards to price action, that's a hugely significant prediction. But when it comes to the technical analysis, it's so obvious. It's so very obvious. So what we're looking at is, for some reason we're looking at that. I didn't want to keep looking at that, right? So the select sectors, yeah, most of them giving up a little bit, and also volatility not actually going anywhere because price didn't do very much. VIX 19. That was a good, yeah, it was a great channel. So continuation, this could also come back down, testing at around 16 again. If that slips, you know, I've been in this channel for a while. You've most recently given up these tests of a potential uptrend, and so does it come back to test this downward sloping long-term time frame, you know, the long-term trend line, and a 1618 retracement from this move, probably in that a little bit more, which would suggest that you're going to be watching those short positions slowly buy every dip. Nobody really pushing it up to go long until such times as we break above and find support on SPY at 420, at which point you'll be looking for 465, right? And then 480, and then a huge, massive potential disaster, which we're going to talk about too if you want to. And then, right, so now I wanted to talk about, and now I can go through the select sectors, but whatever, it's late at night. Where is it? Where are you at right now? How many people are watching? How many people are watching? And where are you at? Where are you from? And what time is it where you are? Right, so what we're going to look at, briefly look at WTER. Right, so they've had their splits, which made the charts all messy, so I had to redo it again. 1 to 15 reverse split, starting on the daily time frame. Fine. We've got our 15 or 200 period moving average. Red, 250. Blue. Get these up, double check. I mean, I know it is a downtrend. It's like that one's above it, so it must be 200. Then 50 is the blue. The 50 comes in at a level of resistance at 277. If you look left, that's a 382. If I go up to a higher time frame to show you all the rest of the drawings, make this point. It's been in a downtrend since forever. The 236 of that is in at around 626. So that's your first target because you're nowhere near that at the minute at 1.47. And this 1618, that was a target when we were talking about price action coming down. You've got 3 touches of bullish divergence, so there is potential reversal on the cards for this thing, but that would speak to a lot more going on. Stochastics turning around, like I say, with the RSI, you've got your bullish divergence, and then you cross on the MACD. If you do get continuation on the MACD and the momentum pulls up, $25, Lisa. Thank you for the daily lessons, supporting this community on stream and in Discord, Jamie. Thank you, Lisa, for being such a brilliant supporter of the channel. Eh? What you like, printer? Get on with it already. Thanks, Lisa. That's appreciated. You're brilliant. So the bullish divergence, RSI. So you've got your cover of the center line, pull yourself out of the bearish control zone. That's two positives that would come off the back of a potential positive thesis about this being bullishly divergent. You've had three touches. This obviously deep retracement, continuation of a downtrend. You've gone beyond the 1618. At that stage, you have to think about how risky it would be pulling back up. So it's not just that target at 277. There's so many other things just ahead of it. 2 seconds. Pardon me, I have a tiny bit of a cold. Tiny bit. Right, so yeah, like I was saying, the 50 simple period moving average, that's one dangerous area to be aware of. You've got your 382, your 236 retracement of this most recent fib from the high that hit our downward sloping trend line, which encompasses the entirety of price action. So that's the one I would pay attention to right now. In the 236 at 280, 277, 280, that'd be a tough area to break. First area to look to after the previous low, which would be call support, now resistance at around 214. So if this thing does start pulling up, 214 risk changes, 277 again, and then you're looking at break 280, target the 382 in at around 4.59 ahead of a test of the 6.26, then the downward sloping macro resistance. So where would you meet that 626? Where does it intersect with that downward sloping horizontal in around 20th of July? So no immediate breaks to the top side now, unless this thing is going for huge reversals all of a sudden, and you'd see that with increasing volatility. That would be price action putting in a larger range over the same or shorter time periods, and that would be consecutively true until such times as price broke the most recent important moving average there on the, well, still on the weekly time frame. Did I do all that on the weekly? Butter. You've got your macro divergence, and then you've got a little touch of it here as well. Probably did. You've got your volatility signal straight to the daily. No, we wouldn't talk about the 2 days. So you've had this pull off for a while now, and that hasn't yet broken. While you have gone back below your own moving average, you've not completely and utterly died with the volatility picking up in the downtrend. So with the bullish divergence in larger time frames, that does suggest something can happen. The statistics, they're where they need to be, but they're not fantastic at what they're doing there in the daily. Is pulling away from a potential cross. The 4 hour, you've got your flashback at 11:31. If it is, then that's the peak on price action, and at the same time we reach that, we're also meeting this downward sloping diagonal. Then of course we're looking across to sometime way off the potential. They're not even giving us a date there so far in the future. So why is it so far to the left? But you can get more on here. Sorry, everybody. So parsimonious with the candlesticks. Yeah, so that's a very important area, that 236. As you can see, it was also supported at two important occasions. One was an extension. This was a low, since that price action has such a strong recovery from that test of $6 up to a high of 86. That you can tell this is an important distinction point. You don't really need me to point out, but there's remind you, and you've had two touches of it, and it's also at the same place we find the 236. So that's very important. You could also probably put it as an 886 of this. Golden pocket retracement coming in at a 382. That's all, and where you find the 200 period moving average on the daily. So like 457 is a very strong level. That, you know. So 277, 280, 457, you break above that, you're asking for a lot from here. And if you do, well, I told you where it's probably going. Bed Bath & Beyond, another 10% off this thing today. It's a little bit hard trying to squeeze more out of this to the downside. The short positions on this, clearly expecting it to go to nothing. What did I just do there? Stop that, spotter. All. Give me all of price action. Thanks. So, yes. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to go in straight in without any indicators. Totally naked. Retracement at this stage, we took this guy from the bottom of that gap, and we were trying to be generous at the time. Did then find a rejection at that 236 again. I suppose that was a big percentage move, but people were wanting more. Overall, it's now put in a bearish engulfing candle. As we were saying, slipping into the bearish control zone, staying there, and then just going in oversold. That's not great. Pardon me. Pardon me. Right, so 4 hour, yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is terrible. It's really terrible. You're looking at doing something significant in order to rescue any long-term position in this thing. In which case you're going to have to exceed the 236 and then some. This gap would have to be filled and price action would have to continue on after that. So, and if you're looking for positivity from Bed Bath & Beyond, you're looking for it to be back above 50 cents and then conquering a 200 period moving average on a 4 hour time frame. You really, that's a 50 simple. You need it to be doing that. And then the 200 period moving average on the daily, that downward macros, that's not, you know. So is it tomorrow? When is the earnings? 17th, isn't it? I thought it was the 17th. Decided yet? Is the 17th even? Wait a minute. Is the 17th even? Is it even? Is that even a trading day? I'm now. This cold is taking over. Naked was a drink brand. Who knew? Not me. NAKD. Well, it is, but not that naked. Not the one I think you're talking about. Not the one that everyone was talking about as a short squeeze like 18 months ago. Naked, which is now, is it not changed its name anyway? Isn't it? So, is that not them there? Anyway, so Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah, it's terrible. You needed to make significant structural moves on the chart, which would significantly change its outlook, and that would be with support being found and tested at around 60 cents. Break above 50, test support at 60, exceed these 0.7829, and then start putting moves in, which would be all very possible if they can manage to rescue the company. But at the minute, a lot of the people that are short on this thing think it's going to zero, and every time they get any positivity, it's pushed back down again. You know, bearish engulfing reaction from a 236. You would hope for price action to then come from this low, not to completely give up all of its gains and put in a new low. You would hope that that would provide second thought to those who are short, but it didn't. It just did provide them another opportunity to re-up and then push it back down to lower and new lows again. So I'm not particularly fantastically positive about Bed Bath & Beyond until it starts doing something to make you positive about it. But it's always good seeing Ken in the chat box, and you shouldn't be blowing your nose 3 times every 10 minutes. You wouldn't have a nose left if that was the way life worked. Stop it, nose. So 4 hour time frame. Ah, my ears. 4 hour time frame. We did it already. That's enough of that. GameStop. That'll cheer me up. Right, so GameStop, you've got this 22 spot 26. Not much of a change. You can say that these are lower highs. RSI is persistent above the basis line on the 4 hour. I like to see that. MACD, you've got, I suppose you would say, price action haven't tested the 200. 50 simple with a strong positive slope to the top side, but still below that 200. It may well be that when the 50 simple's growing across the 200 on the 4 hour time frame, price action is also at that area. You know, we'll call it 3 points, GameStop. In around 3 points, GameStop, when the rabbits are meeting the dolphins, are meeting the pandas, and you have to decide which it is that you want to survive into the next century. And there it goes, they're on a fight, and price action is there, got ringside seat. And boom, like JS, you're looking at this bounce to the upside as price action finds support with the 2 moving averages crossing. That'd be great, you know, if price action did that. Would be, anyway, what am I talking about? This is really, I've not even had any flu medication yet, so I know that I'm going to go mental when that happens. Downward sloping parallel channel through the basis line. You're looking for the top side. That's what you're looking for, but you've got this gap. You've got these 2 moving averages, and if it is that the 50 simple gets rejected from the 200, price action will fill that gap and then some. So you see here how you had something not too dissimilar, and I'm not talking about fractals or whatever. I'm just talking about how price action came in and put in 1 low, 2 low, right? And similar situation over here. You got 1 low and then equal low. You went through the basis line of the downward sloping formation, did that on both occasions, and then you put in 1 high followed by another. You've got 1 high, turn off drawings. You've got 1 high here, and does it then come in and put in another test of that area, right? Which would be just similar to what it did before, at which point when it did that before. As you can see, between those two highs, you had to test off the basis line. Now, if I couldn't necessarily test that basis line because it's obviously back down where this gap came from, but the top side of that gap can be taken as a proxy for it then, because there has been no trades between it and there. And then you can be using that 200 simple period moving average. If the 50 simple crosses through it and price action tests that area at the same time, now turn on the drawings again just so you can go back and see, like, here's where you had something similar, 50 simple going through the 200 period moving average and price action performing well at the same time. You know, it's a simple point. It would be quite common that you would have that as a positive confirmation of a potential trend change, and you'd go on then looking for resistance. And if you did get that resistance immediately 28 and then next time $35. So that's what we're looking for GameStop to do. That's me outlining what the positive scenario to the top side would look like, and most likely should it happen, because of the lead we're taking from the technical analysis we did on SPY and then looking across the markets that way. We were able to see if it does move up, it's not longs that are buying it. Typically in these conditions, it would be the short positions closing, all the dips being bought, and then unlikely you would be looking to fill gaps. More you'd be looking to find support at the nearest potential areas, and then go back on to test previous resistance in short order. So GameStop then maybe moving to those levels, but incrementally and not all in one go. GameStop. What else did we say we talk about that I haven't managed to do yet? XELA. Another 6.4% down, but that's after a bottom potential with this W formation on the charts here. Little bit, which can be the beginning of something. No, where is my handkerchief thing? Right, nobody needs to see that kind of thing. So, yeah, the potential W bottom, you've got bullish divergence, a number of touches of it, and your stochastics have performed well, but only in order to get you a place where they might completely collapse. On the daily time frame, you've got a cross of the MACD potentially go through the center line, the RSI. That would be very good. Stochastics, I'm not going to complain about them. It's not done badly. It wants to target back towards, I mean, it doesn't want to. What is clearly doesn't have any agency of its own whatsoever, other than to follow the largest body of mass, which is Earth. It's just going to the center of the Earth as quick as it possibly can. If it can reverse polarity, then you're looking at a test of one that's above a 200 period moving average on the daily time frame. It's stupidly ambitious from here. The 50 simple on the 4-hour time frame then is what you've just most recently been rejected from. It probably get rid of the W, you can see it yourself. Yeah, so you went above it, but you didn't manage to open close, and on the body closes most recently, I would say that's a rejection when you consider the context of that body ratio to wick. Ugh. Right, that's like entirely chocolate and entirely biscuit and very little chocolate, and if worst kind too. Right, so 50 simple, yeah, it's very difficult at the minute. XELA, what are we looking at? With lower time frames to see if you're getting a rejection already. So you've got a higher high and you've got higher lows, fine, but I don't think that they're important to the structure of this thing, those that you've tested. Most recent low then, before this formation, is trying to put in higher lows, lower highs, which itself has found a rejection at the 200 period moving average. Though it did get support at the 50 simple, so does it bounce between them for a while? Well, take this most recent high, go across, you can see that breaking back above the 382 would be significant, holding the 236. That would be that sideways formation that we were talking about between these moving averages is also between these two Fibonacci levels, so that's very possible. The RSI isn't putting in any bearish divergence here, but if you were to look back, you can see that this would be the area where you found peaks in this downward sloping trend. It's no particular formation on this time frame that I'd put any faith in. And it's all about the horizontals on this thing, especially when it's potentially putting in a W bottom. So 4-hour time frame, RSI, hold center line, that's very positive. Could stretch this guy out. So you go through the center line, perhaps that would look positive. You do have enough touches of bullish divergence there, I suppose. Start making that move, even though it is not as clear on the 4 hour. Down in the 1 hour, that's where we might find some interesting information. We've already been here, have we? Is this the moving average problem we talked about? It is, and there's the center line situation. The same. MACD's not collapsed yet. Things on XELA. So, you really want this to start moving up on significant time frames and doing important things. Those tests of the moving averages, you want to start doing that on the 4 hour time frame with 50 simple below you and 200 testing prior levels of resistance back at around 0.7. In advance of that, you've got to break 0.5. Very, very big level. And like I say, you're probably going sideways until such times as you conquer at least that 50 simple on the 4 hour, which is also what you'd be finding with breaking 200 on the 1 hour. Body closes, in which case maybe you're looking at the 4 hour, and then how many of those 1 hours are you going to get in before you get the confirmation on that 4 hour? On body closes. Ha! Yo, I'm not a cat, how you doing? So that's one of the things, most of the things, pretty much everything I'm meant to run through quickly. People will know from Discord, and those people who are on my Patreon will know, some of them who've interacted with me in those two areas, that I have long and short positions on various energy firms. And if you watch the show regularly, you'll know that my long positions are mostly in those oil companies that have got downstream production facilities like refinery capacity, and also in currencies which will perform well over the next wee while. Where is my tissue gone? Am I actually doing this again? Sorry, tissues. These are going to the shop, so I have to go back to the shop. Here, I'm not liking this trend. I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's Guitar Outside's birthday. Happy birthday, Guitar Outside! How you doing, Guitar Outside? What a special day it is. Guitar Outside, how you doing? Happy birthday. And what did the chat box say when I asked everybody where they are and where they're from? Wipe your nose on the cat. The cat's not around, or I would. Tradespotting JME had one of the lowest volume days ever reported today, like top 3 lowest days. Ah, shocking. Oh, no, eh? Shocking. Should GameStop buy Victoria's Secret day offers report? Victoria's Secret. I mean, it would be complimentary for GameStop's. I mean, I don't know. Like, they're not located in mostly the same sort of areas, so I don't know if there'd be any benefit to that. And then it's definitely going to be better for GameStop than it would be Victoria's Secret, obviously. It's a very different clientele, really, aren't they? So, also, Victoria's Secret is like, isn't it not just like a little bit naff, really? It's just like silly games and whatnot. They'll be wiped out by the old, because they're just brick and mortar store, aren't they? They're just brick and mortar. So there'll be the old internet, the digital's VIX secrets. All the digital secrets are taking over. Isn't that the way the world's going? Something like that or something. At any can. So where are you from and what's the temperature? What time is it? Oh yeah, that was it. What time is it? Yes. Is my nose going back into my head or something? Why does it feel like this? JS, the legend. Right, it's Guitar Outside's birthday. It's Guitar Outside's birthday. Did you know that? It's Guitar Outside's birthday. Whew.
It's Guitar Outside. through West Virginia. I seldom been thinner. Got this chip on my shoulder, and this past year I got so much older. Looking back over my life, spent most of it tongue-tied. Now I'm wishing I had more time, listening to you speak your mind. Now I'm thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? I'm thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Yeah. Are you a life force? Drinking coffee black as iron, and I couldn't be much higher without falling out of my chair. And I've been so numb for so many years. Now I'm thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? I'm thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? And it's so easy to be blinded by the light, to feel lonely in the night. Oh, it's blowing in the breeze, baby. I got dust in my eyes, rust in my smile. I'll be back come next spring. Won't you say you love me then, by and by? Looking back over my life, spent the most of it tongue-tied, pulling my belt ties, just me and the stars tonight. 2 fingers and a tight line, keep my head above the alpine. And I'm wishing I had more time, just listening to her speak her mind. And now I'm thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about her every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? So by and by, by and by, by and by, 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 by and by, oh, by and by. Unless your soul's so cold, and then you buy and hold. Yeah, man, yeah. That's it. 7.
What a guy, eh? Happy birthday, Guitar Outside. We're lucky to have you. He does all the camera work himself at the same time. Kind of incredible, really. Guitar Outside. Lucky to have you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Also, thanks for letting me steal your song there and playing it on the show to make it good. So you should check out Guitar Outside yourself's channel and subscribe to him, yo. He's only got however many subscribers. How many is there? 84. It should be 84,000. And you can find him anytime there. Pin. Check him out, subscribe, and see all those brilliant songs. Sometimes he plays guitar inside. So thank you very much. Happy birthday, everybody. See you tomorrow for more of the same. Thanks, JS. Thanks, Lisa. You're totally amazing, JS. Oh my goodness gracious me. That was huge today.